Hi guys, just thought I'd put out a couple videos about the right triangle trig ratios, and then I'll do some on our angles of elevation and depression to make these kind of short so that you can watch them really quick. You should all have these notes pages at home. If not, you can download them from the Canvas website. I'll have them marked special so you know what they are. Remember, we're talking about sine, cosine, and tangent. These are the different ratios that we can get from right triangles. Remember that it has to be a right triangle in order for us to use these ratios. So the sine ratio is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine ratio is adjacent over hypotenuse. And the tangent ratio is opposite over adjacent. Something that I have noticed in the homeworks, remember, if they're asking you for sine of anything, they want this ratio. They might want it as a decimal, but that's what they want. If they're asking you for sine, like if they say sine J, they don't want J, they want the sine J. So they want the opposite side over the hypotenuse, and maybe they want it as a decimal, but that is what they want, is opposite over hypotenuse. If they want the angle, they will ask for the angle. So keep that in mind as we're working forward here. Okay. When we will go to label this triangle, remember that we're always going to start in our reference angle. We've got the right angle always is going to point to our hypotenuse. If we do the same thing with the reference angle, it will always point to the opposite side. And I really like to put the 3-letter designation. I know on the sheets and in class, sometimes we just put O, H, and A. But sometimes if we've got a number over here and we put an O next to it, it looks like we're making that number into tens instead of just opposite side. And remember that if I'm sitting right here on my stool, I can hold on to the hypotenuse and elbow my adjacent side. So that's one way to keep your goodies straight. So over here, I'm going to adjust this a little bit from how we did it in class just to clarify what I was saying above. If this is triangle A, B, C, when they're asking for sine 35, that's the same thing as saying, I want sine C. Now sine C, as we said above, is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So sine C equals 3 over 5. If we were writing as a decimal, that's going to be 0.6 because 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. Okay. If they ask for cosine 35, they're asking for cosine of C. In this case, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So that'll be 4 over 5. And 5 goes into 40 8 times, so that's 0.8. Or we could just write it as 0.8. I always prefer the 0 first, but I think in some of your answers, the questions ask you to leave the 0 off and just put 0.8. Okay. So the tangent of 35 degrees is the same thing as tangent of C. So in that case, they're wanting opposite over adjacent, and that's 3/4. Now you notice this worksheet is asking for them in fraction form. So for these, you would put your answers in the fraction form. What I'm showing you here is a different assignment. So don't get confused. This is asking for a fraction. I would expect you to give me a fraction. I'm just clarifying these other things because on the other assignment that we had online, it was asking for a decimal and people got confused. Okay? Thank you. I hope this helps.